the millionaire skateboarder who became a broke rapper. Video about Jeremy Rogers popped up in my recommended, so let's give it a watch.
This is Jeremy Rogers. Not that long ago, he was one of the top pros in skateboarding and was making millions of dollars off of sponsorships, endorsements, and contest money.
Let me just start off this reaction by saying I don't know that much about Jeremy Rogers, so this is going to be news to me.
He grew up as a child prodigy and rose to be one of the most renowned pros in the skateboarding industry. Jeremy put out several iconic video parts, won some of the biggest contests in skateboarding, and had some of the best sponsors a skater could want. He was easily among the top pros of the time, but unlike other pros who went on to cement their legacy in skateboarding, he's essentially been forgotten about altogether. This is how Jeremy Rogers grew to be one of the biggest skateboarders in the world in a few short years and made the conscious decision to throw it all away.
What is this background music? Damn, he was so good.
How old are you?
16.
And where are you from again, you little bastard?
Boston.
Oh, man.
Jeremy Rogers grew up skating just outside of Boston, Massachusetts. For most skaters, it takes years to reach a decent skill level, let alone get to the point of being sponsored, but Jeremy gained traction almost right away. He first started skating at the age of 13, and by the time he was 14, he was already sponsored.
His first year? Damn, he was born to skate. No way he just threw it away.
Despite only earning $350 a month, or around $600 when you account for inflation, the fact that he even got sponsored at all in such a short time frame is still impressive. He was still really young, but he was progressing fast, and he ended up getting noticed by a few members of the DVS shoe team while skating in a demo. This led him to getting invited on a future skate tour, which would be a pivotal moment in his career. Although he was already talented and had a few small sponsors, skating with pros helped him get better even faster, and it also put him on the radar of larger skate companies. Even with his young age, Jeremy Rogers was one of the most promising up-and-coming skateboarders, and he was at the point where companies were starting to take notice.
Some of you guys might be watching this footage and be like, oh, he was average. I mean, I'm not saying compared to you guys. Like, obviously, I'm sure he's a fucking amazing skater. But I'm just saying, like, there's so many like, the standards have rose in skateboarding. Like, there's so many, like, child prodigies now. But think about, like, this was back then. Like, a 16-year-old doing this type of stuff, like, that is amazing.
You be quiet.
Soon after getting invited on tour, Jeremy dropped out of school at the age of 15 to focus on skateboarding full-time.
He dropped out of school?
After getting invited on tour, Jeremy dropped out of school at the age of 15 to focus on skateboarding full-time. He was getting more attention from big sponsors, and he also started putting out footage in several iconic skate videos. Eventually, he would turn pro in 2005, shortly after winning Transworld Magazine's Rookie of the Year award. By this point, Jeremy Rogers was a big name in skateboarding and was part of an entirely new wave of skaters. It just so happened that as his career was starting to take off, skateboarding was going into a massive expansion. The level of tricks being done was far more difficult, and skateboarding as a whole was getting a lot more exposure. This meant the skateboarding was better, the companies were bigger, and a ton of money was being made. For example, in 2006, Jeremy got paid $50,000 just to produce his own skate video.
Damn. Okay, maybe dropping out was the move. I feel like dropping out was probably a better decision than him pursuing music later down the road. Dropping out sounds like, holy shit, at 15? But $50K?
In 2006, Jeremy got paid $50,000 just to produce his own skate video.
Wow.
Unfortunately, after expenses, he didn't actually turn a profit on the video, which would almost foreshadow some of his later career decisions, but it goes to
Wait, how did he not turn a profit? How did he not turn a profit?
dollars just to produce his own skate video. Unfortunately, after expenses, he didn't actually turn a profit on the video, which would almost foreshadow some of his later...
How expensive was the video to make? Did he hire like a whole ass production team?
Career decisions, but it goes to show the level of money that was going around. The point is, this was a time in skateboarding when people were earning massive amounts of money, which was previously unheard of. Throughout the mid-2000s, Jeremy continued to put out skate videos and competed in most of the major contests. He would often win or place in the top 5 in contests such as Tampa Pro, the X Games, and the Do Tour. Around this time, he also started making media appearances in several different TV shows. As a skateboarder, he was pretty much killing it in all aspects. This isn't to say that he was the #1 skater in the world, but he was definitely up there, and he was still somewhere early on in his career. Then, at the age of 24, Jeremy Rogers called up all of his sponsors on the same day and canceled his contracts. Overnight, he literally went from being one of the best skaters in the industry to not skating at all. This is something that had never happened in skateboarding at the time, and honestly, nothing like it has happened since.
Wait, no way it was just that abrupt. I didn't know he just called up his sponsors and was like, yo, I'm done. Damn, bro. I thought like he slowly just stopped skating, started dabbling in music, and then just like it happened like that, like he got dropped. I didn't know he called up his sponsors and quit his contracts. Wow.
For several years before he retired, Jeremy Rogers was earning over $700,000 a year. He was known for driving nice cars like a brand new Aston Martin, and he would even wear a $20,000 gold chain. The lifestyle he lived was completely new in skateboarding, and making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year as a skater was previously unheard of. I really can't stress enough that
$700K a year. How much is that a month? Yes, I'm pulling up my calculator. 700,000 divided by 12 months. That's $58K a month? Every month. What the fuck? Wow. Bro was living life. Yeah, he probably just got so into the lifestyle that skating was like he probably just was like, fuck skating, even though that's what was making him money.
he was at a level of success in skateboarding that only a small amount of people ever reach. He was arguably one of the best skaters of his generation, and his peers at the time have all gone on to become legends in the skateboarding industry. All of this is to say that when he decided to quit, it was a huge shock to pretty much everyone. In the world of skateboarding, professional skateboarders do retire, but they don't do it the way he did. Sometimes pros retire after getting hurt, sometimes they retire when they start getting older, and sometimes it's a combination of factors. The thing is, when a pro skater retires, there's usually a logical reason that most people can understand. With Jeremy...
Someone in chat said, my stepdad makes that in a year. Oh, I thought you were talking about 700K. You're talking about the 58K. Yeah, bro. The average, American salary is like 40 to 50K. Like, some people make less, like 20K a year. Making 58K in a month is wild.
Rogers, this definitely wasn't the case. About 2 years prior to quitting, Jeremy started rapping and making music. This is something he kept on the down low though, and the majority of skaters had no idea. As time went on, he found himself wanting to make music more and more, and he said that eventually, skateboarding started feeling like a job.
Okay, so music was there in the background before he quit. I thought he was like, you know what? I quit, and then he started making music. He was keeping it low key. But why would you keep it low key and then quit? I feel like you gotta make it public, see the response, right? See if it's actually good before you decide to pursue it, right? Because if you're just keeping it low key, maybe showing your friends or like family, chances are maybe they're yes men. Maybe they're gonna be like, oh, that's sounds great, honey. Like you're not gonna know if it's actually good until you make it public.
Then, according to him, around 2 weeks before he called his sponsors and quit, he had an epiphany while on mushrooms and decided he wanted to make music full time. He had no money saved, no backup plan. All he knew was that he wanted to be a music artist. Now, in some industries, there is the ability to cross over. Athletes become actors, actors become musicians, musicians become business owners, and for the most part, no one thinks twice when it happens.
Making a huge career decision while on mushrooms is insane.
In skateboarding though, people tend to be less forgiving. When Jeremy finally pulled the plug on skating, he also started releasing his music publicly, and let's just say that it wasn't the best received.
Swag, top, peel back, no roof, yeah, we killing on.
Again,
Ain't no way. No, he probably had to have better shit, right? Like, homie making this video had to have picked like the worst song, right, for this video to fit the narrative. That cannot be what all his music sounds like. Oh my god. Wow. It's all bad? Nah, that was the best. Oh my god, bro. You see, when I was thinking about removing skating from my videos, I was not thinking about quitting skating at all, even though it was starting to feel like a job back then. I'm referring to Connor's video when he said, like, I was going through that creative block and wanted to, you know, remove skating from the videos. In the last, like, 10 years of my life, I have not seriously thought about quitting skating. Like, I'm skating till I can't walk anymore, bro. I wanted to remove it from the videos so I could grow as a YouTuber, but, like, I was never like, okay, let me just quit skating like forever.
Jeremy Rogers was an elite skateboarder when he quit, and he was at a level that millions of skateboarders would love to be at. Not only was he a pro skater, which is a major accomplishment in and of itself, but he was one of the top pros in the industry. Because of the position he was in, seeing him walk away to make music made a lot of skaters angry. And when I say a lot of skaters, I mean the overwhelming majority. In their eyes, he was wasting his potential and he was trying to be something he wasn't. Not only that, but for the most part, skaters also just didn't like his music. The first few songs Jeremy put out weren't necessarily the most polished, so when people found out that's why he quit, they weren't too happy. After his announcement, he got hundreds, if not thousands of negative comments. The crazy thing is, Jeremy genuinely thought that people would support his decision, and he was actually surprised when they didn't. Public opinion of him flipped pretty much overnight, and he went from being one of the most loved skaters to one of the most hated. This wasn't a short-term reaction either. Over the next few years, the hate would continue to pile on, and the transition from skater to musician was far from an easy one.
Damn, that music's loud as shit. Like I said, bro, he should have, like, made the music a little more public before making the decision. Granted, he was on shrooms. Skaters are harsh, bro. Skaters are harsh. They always have been. Skaters are some of the biggest haters. A lot of them are just, they're just mean. I don't think he should have expected everyone to just welcome his music with open arms. Like, skaters are very, like, 100% skateboarder. They don't accept anything they think is corny or weird or not, you know, not hard.
After retiring from skateboarding, Jeremy Rogers had a string of incidents that didn't really help public opinion. Less than a year after quitting, Jeremy returned to skating by launching his own brand, which featured parody graphics mocking other top companies.
Really? What the fuck? Boy? Ain't no way. What the fuck? Bro, this is insane. Real, fake, boy, world comedy, alien sex shop. Bro, robber instead of baker, bright star instead of dark star. Bro, I did not know about this.
Most average skaters were already angry that he quit, and when he came back with parody graphics of other companies, a lot of industry skaters got mad as well. As bad as it was,
classic
parody graphics of other companies, a lot of
ghetto kids, classy ghetto kids.
Industry skaters got mad as well. As bad as it was, compared to his future incidents, this was a relatively minor event. For example, in 2012, Jeremy got arrested in a New York City hotel where he accidentally took the wrong medication and ended up running naked down the hall. He did apologize for it and admitted to messing up, but it didn't really change how people felt. 2 years after that, he was arrested again when he was accused of fighting someone in an LA nightclub. He denied being involved, but thanks to those charges, along with a combination of old traffic charges, he ended up serving 3 months in LA County Jail. Then, around 2018, he had a very public ongoing feud with Nigel Houston, who's arguably one of the best skaters of all time. Nothing ever came of the feud, but Jeremy made several videos about the situation, and it just wasn't the best look.
That's like beefing with Drake in music, bro. That's like Lil Xan beefing with Drake. You're not gonna win, bro.
It seemed like every time Jeremy Rogers got brought up, it was because of some new controversy. Whether any of these incidents were actually his fault is up for debate, but the point is, the first few years after he retired didn't go the smoothest. The skate community felt like he wasted his talent to try to be a rapper, and then got strung out partying, and eventually went downhill. Millions of kids would love to be a rich pro skater, so seeing someone achieve their dream just to throw it away for something that they thought was stupid naturally caused a lot of animosity. The thing is, most skaters never took the time to hear Jeremy's side of the story. The majority of people just heard that he quit skateboarding to make music, and then they heard about the occasional controversy for the next few years. Now, if all you gathered from his story were the headlines, it's easy to form a negative opinion. Once you dig a little deeper though, the reason why he decided to quit is a little more understandable.
I'm interested to hear this because, bro. The truth about
Do you
Jeremy
not have
Rogers.
enough? You're an Aston Martin, this and that.
Now you want
Oh,
this.
and Holmes, you did not have enough. That's not enough. You want this other thing. You know,
Right,
it's like
right,
that.
right,
They're not
right.
looking at it as it's a passion based. Like,
Yeah.
no, I just want to be doing what I want to do. It's just like you had what I want to have, and you throw it out the window to go do this thing. It doesn't matter. And da-da-da.
In the years following his retirement, Jeremy Rogers has done plenty of interviews where he's talked about his life and career. In these interviews, he's mentioned several times how when he quit skateboarding, he genuinely thought he was doing the right thing. He could have easily milked it for a few more years just for the sake of the money, but instead, he decided to pursue music full time because that's what he wanted to do. He said before that he doesn't care if he's the worst music artist in the world, he just wants to be known as a music artist.
Hey, respect though, you know? If it was not the shrooms talking, like if he genuinely just was not feeling skating anymore and he wanted to just keep doing the music, obviously there was a way smarter way he could have done it. But, you know, at least he tried at the end of the day. You feel me? Like, it's better than growing older and being like, damn, what if I tried music, you know? Like, it's better that he went for it. like I said, there was a way better to execute it. But at least he tried, and he was following what he thought was the right thing to do. He was following his passion. But yeah, because that's gotta suck. Like, if you grow up thinking like, damn, like I was making music, not telling anyone, what if I tried it, you know?
In the eyes of skaters, he threw away something that they could only dream of, but in the eyes of Jeremy, he just switched from one passion to the next. Perhaps it was a bad financial decision, and maybe most people would regret it, but it seems like Jeremy is pretty happy with the way things worked out. He's talked openly
That's
about
good,
how
then. That's
losing his
good.
sponsors and
Because when you think of money, like, oh, money in contests, like, oh, he was making $700,000 a year, winning all these contests. You know, he was living the dream. You know, that's not everybody's dream. Maybe, you know, when he got there, I'm sure the drugs like played a huge factor, which is unfortunate. But, you know, maybe he just got up there and was like, oh, this isn't really what I want anymore. Like, this isn't as good as I envisioned. He was just having way more fun making music. But I'm glad, because like I said, I do not keep up with Jeremy Rogers. I didn't even know 75% of this stuff. So I'm glad to see that he's happy, you know, or at least that it sounds like he's happy.
moving back with his mom actually taught him how to manage money and allowed him to grow as a person. To this day, Jeremy still has a bit of an eccentric nature, and he might even be a little delusional, but he does seem to enjoy what he's doing. It's easy to read a few headlines and make a quick decision, but if you
Someone in chat said, wouldn't you make music and skate? Wouldn't you do both? Does he still skate, chat? Does he still skate, like, at least a little bit? Because I can't answer for him. I don't know if he genuinely just did not like skateboarding anymore. Because if he didn't, then why would you do both? Like, you know? It's like if I'm working construction and I'm doing something else. Like, it's like, yeah, you could do both. But if you hate construction, it's like, then you just give it up. And he probably just picks up the board every once in a while. I don't know. I can't speak on it because I don't follow him, keep up with him.
you take the time to listen to interviews, he's not nearly as bad as many people assume. Of course, skateboarders would have preferred him to continue his path in skateboarding, but he seems convinced that he's much better off after quitting. Most skaters wouldn't throw away a $1 million skate career to become a rapper, but at the end of the day, that was the decision that Jeremy Rogers made, and he seems to be happy with it.
Interesting. It'd be different if, like, you know, his decision was based on the drugs and then like 2 years later he was like, damn, I fucked up. Like, that's not actually what I wanted to do. You know, fuck music. Skateboarding is where my heart is at. You know, then it'd be kind of like, damn, he fucked up. But if him right now, if he's genuinely happy, that's all that matters, bro. Honestly. Obviously, I hope he, you know, invested his money from skateboarding properly. And he's not just like broke now. But damn, that was a cool video.